Hey guys, welcome. We are working in Chapter 4 in our textbook Graphic Design Solutions by Robin Landa. We're in the 5th edition, and one of the things that we're taking a look at is the design process in this chapter. The determining design objectives is one of the forms that I use in my own personal design objectives, and it was a form that was previously created with the help of the textbook by Robin Landa. So I just want to take a couple of minutes and go through the design objectives form and encourage you as you work through, if you're working in a freelance job as a graphic designer, or really if you're working as a staff graphic designer for a company or corporation, this is a great way to determine whether or not you've done what you need to do to ensure you understand what the requirements of the design are. The first one is to determine what's the purpose of the design. And by now you should know that there are a lot of things, a lot of purposes involved in developing a graphic design or design solution. It could be informational, like a textbook. It could be persuasive. The design could be meant to be persuasive, like a political poster or advertisement. It could be intended to promote something, like a particular organization or political candidate, or even your own business. The design could be intended to mark or identify, like a business card or a logo does for a particular company. So your first step is determining how the design will function. Again, inform, persuade, promote, mark, or identify. The second step in making sure you best understand what's required of a particular design solution is to determine who the audience is. The audience, and you should be pretty specific on this. You want to make sure that you know who the individual or group on the receiving end of the graphic design solution, so you're targeting that particular group. It can be identified by age, interest, ethnicity, and actually probably all of those. And one of the examples that I like to use is I have 4 children. My oldest daughter is an attorney. My second daughter is a social worker, a child advocacy specialist. My third son is a manufacturing consultant. And my fourth son is taking over our family's excavating business. Each one of these, based on their areas of interest, should be communicated differently. If I am selling them insurance, or if I'm trying to get them to sign up for a particular bank account, or if I want them to purchase a product. Each one of those, even though they were raised in the same family, because they're adults and they've defined their area of interest, their education, their age would be communicated to differently. So again, you need to know the specifics of your audience to know what font to use, what imagery to use, what kind of language to use, how to use the page layout, big type, small type, bright colors, subdued colors. And for example, do a little bit of research and go out and take a look at a couple of different clothing lines, for example, or a couple of different sports teams, or a couple of different fast food types, fast food versus fine dining. I'm trying to think of, let's see, Ann Taylor is something that I might wear in terms of clothing. And so you need to take a look at what kind of clothing you look at and what kind of their ads are, where are they placed and what do they look like. So again, every message needs to be, first of all, determine what the purpose of the message or the design is, and then who the audience is. Number 3, what message needs to be communicated? The primary message is the direct message that's conveyed. This is conveyed by the words that you use, by the signs, by the typeface, by the imagery, by the color. And then what is conveyed by the overall design is the secondary, meaning how you put it together. So again, a couple of messages going on there, first the primary and then the secondary, and that's all something that the graphic designer controls. Competition, I won't spend a lot of time on this. but I'm going to just break away here for just a moment. All right, sorry about that interruption. What is the competition in marketplace? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but other than to just give you the reason for why you want to do that research, you want to take a look at how similar design problems have been resolved. And it can do one of two things. It's going to show you how somebody else communicates to your particular audience in a similar message, and it will show you what you don't want to do because you probably don't want to replicate somebody else's design. So again, just totally encourage research in determining a design solution, and this is one of the reasons why. The context or venue, that's where and how a design would be seen. Is it going to be seen in the hallways at school? Is it going to be seen on the web? Is it going to be seen on the side of a bus or a park bench? All of that absolutely determines, the size of your type, the color, your overall design aesthetic. Number 6, in what voice? Every solution has a personality. It's displayed by your choice of layout, your choice of type, and visuals. You might, and actually this is very helpful to me, to make a list of descriptive words that you'd use to describe the product or the service or the idea that you're designing for. And then this helps with your understanding of your target audience. It helps you to determine what the design solution's voice is. If you're talking to a group of bankers, for example, or if you're advertising or creating a design for a target audience of bankers, the color, the layout, the typeface, the contrast, the size, all of that's going to differ significantly. For example, if you are creating a design that you want to be noticed by, 4 and 5-year-olds for a birthday party, for example, or something of that sort. That's one indication of what, is the voice serious? Is it playful? Is it subdued? Is it active? Is your voice going to be angry and forceful and impactful? Or is it going to be soft and relaxing? So again, in what voice? And again, your entire solution is going to reflect that particular voice. And then finally, what kind of response is desired? When you've gotten your audience to react, then you've made a connection. Whether you've gotten them to be agitated enough that they want to take a stance on a particular issue, or if you've gotten them to be, just want to buy a piece of clothing or donate to a particular cause. You want your audience to respond. And when you've gotten them to respond or to react, that's a good thing. The concept, and I write just a brief paragraph on the concept, or Robin Landa probably wrote this. I probably just copied it, but that's why I gave her credit at the end of the paragraph. The concept determines how you make the choices of color, typeface, imagery, and so forth. The overall concept is the foundation for your design. I could be designing, for a group of bankers to encourage them to invest in a particular fund, but my concept might be to make the design look like a Herb Lubalin design, which is something you guys are working on or have just finished. Or my concept could be to make it look like the old-time banks of the Roman era. Again, that's the concept, and you would research that particular era and you would see what was going on in terms of typefaces or type or chiseled type, colors, shapes, and then utilize that to create your concept and make your underlying choices for your design. That's a little bit more difficult of an idea to grasp, concept versus just overall image type and so forth. But again, remember that concept is the underlying idea, the foundation upon which your design sits. It's the reason why you choose the colors and image and type and layout that you choose, in addition to understanding who you're designing for and what message needs to be communicated. Okay, so that's really it for the design objectives. I would like you to take a look at it, and I will have an assignment later on where I have you use this and fill it out as it relates to your design. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later.